to my dance money. I can say my nigga.
Man from the Leo, GK, but really boiled down to key 10 my ratio. Puffing up and up in my grace like inspirations. I got assurance, so I know that I pay. I check the life lane, but how to afford plays and food.
Welcome back to Camera Farmer. This week, lots of noises outside, sorry. This week, I'm going to do tintype photography or ferrotype. Not on a real camera, because I don't have film, I don't have anything like that. I'll be using my iPad. Now, I know some photographers that hate the filters and Hipstamatic, is it called? Yeah, Hipstamatic, things like that. That you can choose your different kind of cameras and your film and lenses and mix them all up. But I think it's a great way to access different styles of photography, because I'm not a snob when it comes to photography. Use what you want, use what you can. Now, I'm not using Hipstamatic. I'm using, it's an app just called Tintype, and I think it's about 99 cents on the App Store. And I've got an old iPad, and that's it there. And it takes fantastic pictures. It's really interesting. It's not a different frame every time. You've not got the randomized look. You could do that maybe in Photoshop or whatever software you use. But it does take a good picture, and it is really interesting. And the reason I am so fascinated by this kind of photography is because with the real camera, it's taken on a metal plate, silver nitrate, lots of dangerous, horrible chemicals that you use to do it, but it brings out a unique look. It's not even close to anything else. It's a fantastic look. You know, you've got a look at the Old West, especially. It seems to be popular there, even though it was all over. But it can be a fantastic artistic look. It picks up infrared, I believe, so everything looks a bit weird, and there's a lot that it does that makes the image look quite strange. This app is the closest I've got that I've found to something that's very just instant and looks really close to it. I usually take it into whatever editing software I'm using and maybe work on the blacks and the whites together. You do get it in colour, you do get it in sepia, but I just use it in black and white. And you can maybe work on them a little so it could look a bit more realistic. The one good thing about Tintype is there's a real sense of 3D with it. And it's not 3D, but it has a sense of shape, especially if you're doing a portrait or something. And that app that I'm using on this iPad, it doesn't necessarily do that, but it gets you in the right direction. And it's, again, taking pictures here is just a lot of fun. And that's why I'm doing this, to just have fun. So don't be a snob. This is an old iPad. This is one from a few years ago, a couple of generations ago. Works absolutely fine. And that's another thing. You don't need to worry about the quality of the camera because it's been degraded so much anyway. It kind of adds to it. But if you are using Hipstamatic or whatever, I don't know what other apps you get for photography like that, it's great because it's a cheap way to get access to all these films and lenses, and they're emulated. Some of them better than others. Some of them you can't tell from the real thing. Others, hit and miss. But it's still fun. You can still create an image that's interesting. You can still delve into different ways of shooting. And a different film or a different tone or even a lens, it will make you look at a subject differently. You will take pictures in a different way, which is always what you want. You always want to be maybe a bit challenged in the way you look at something, the way you want to take a picture of it. So today it's going to be this app. And I don't think I'll do apps often, but the reason I wanted to do this one is because I have a lot of fun with this. I really do enjoy it. And if I'm doing a portrait of someone, you've got the weird little cameras they use. You've got maybe more expensive cameras, and here's my iPad. People are like, well, I could do that. Yeah, maybe, but it's fun. I enjoy it. And again, that's what this is all about. Just enjoying taking pictures and seeing what comes out of it. There's so many emulated cameras on the App Store and Play Store and Android that you actually might find one where you go, God, this is surprisingly great. An iPhone's camera is just stunning. They're so good for video and photographs. The lenses on them are great, and when you start adding a filter to it, a film recipe as they're called, it can look fantastic. No one's complaining about these fake film recipes being put on a £2,000 Fuji with a little dial and it emulates it. Oh, that's really good. It's the exact same on an iPhone, and a lot of the times a bit better because you've got more choices and you've got far more control over the filters. Maybe not any control sometimes, but sometimes you do, and you can actually play with it a bit more. And also, like I've always said, take the image and go straight back into whatever software you edit with and mess around with it and pull something out of it. I like adding shooting in black and white with this tintype app, and then I add like a bit of green to it, sometimes a bit of blue, and it just brings, because I've seen tintypes that can be a bit greeny and some that can have a bit of blue through them, and it creates this fantastic look. I think it's just depending on the chemicals you're using and how you've exposed the whole process, and it brings this colour out. So I add that, and it can look really nice. Although tintypes, because you're using these large cameras, I think they're 4x6, the size of the metal, the film, as it will, the metal plate. They can be very sharp, but only in a small point, and the rest of it's quite blurred. So it's a very artistic, maybe not artistic at the time, it was maybe just the restrictions of the technology. Well, obviously was the restrictions of the technology, but over time that's become an artistic look, and it can be incredibly effective. So I'm going to take it out. It's very easy to take portraits with these and they look fantastic, but it's a bit more difficult to take a landscape. So my plan is to go out and take some landscapes with it. Whether this works or not, and I'm not going to take landscapes like I've been recently, just over the water and that, because that can fill up the scene a bit and make it look a bit, it's a bit easier, a bit more forgiving, because there's a bit more of an active content within the image. So I'm going someplace where it's just a plain field and try and be a bit more dramatic. I think about, I was living in Kansas and I went out to take pictures there, and it was just these flat fields, and I was just getting these, it was like taking a picture of the sea, where you've got the sea, the horizon and the sky, and it was just shades going up the picture, but I was doing it with fields, and it felt very similar to me. So I'm going to try maybe something like that. I'm always full of ideas, then I get there and it all changes. So we'll see what happens. But again, don't be snobs about things. Whenever there's a camera, pick it up and try and get something out of it. All cameras can deliver something, even if they're bad. Now, like I said, this will probably be the only time I use the iPad, because that's really the only one app that I use on it, and the only reason I'll shoot with the iPad is use this tintype app. But I will be back to Camp Snap next week, and I'll be doing something similar with that, but to see how we can use the Camp Snap in different circumstances. And again, you'll come with me and just walk around and have a look at different places. So let's go out, and once again, I have no idea where I'm going. Okay, we are up at a place just outside Dundee called oh wait, I think it's Blackmuir Woods. And it's a lovely little spot for walking, lots of dog walkers and people enjoying their day out. But there's a shot up here that I want to get, and I have spent years trying to get it just right, and I just never do, and I probably won't get it today, of course I won't. I'm shooting with an iPad, but when it does shoot well, it looks absolutely fantastic and I really enjoy it, but I've never got it. I've never got it right. So I'm just going to take pictures and see what happens. And the thing is, with getting out and shooting like this, especially where you think there's going to be no good shots, you're always surprised about what can actually be done. I mean, I keep saying that to people. I've had it said to me so many times, oh, I've got nowhere to take pictures. Where you live, it's really beautiful. I take pictures of derelict streets or just everything. It's like, and that's one of the challenges. If there's nowhere to take a picture and you can't see anything, that's where you take a picture. That's the best place to go. And that's what I enjoy doing. And on top of that, it's actually freezing. Oh, there's sunbeams in the distance. I wonder if I'll get them. That show up a little bit. Does this do landscapes or never? No, I don't think it does, but we'll try. Oh, it does. Oh, I don't know if I like that. I've always just taken them vertically, the way it's sort of meant to be done. But this is a great view, as you could see. I don't know if there's more sunbeams out there coming through in the distance. We'll see if I can. I'll see if I can get them in. I'll get more grass. Oh, bag's going over the camera, I can see that. I think now there's a lot of adjustment that you can do on this app, but I'm not bothering doing that. I'm just going to take it and see how it turns out. I might do a little bit of contrast. Sometimes washed out makes it look more authentic, sometimes darkening it down does the same. But we'll see what we could do. But it's a great fun app, and like that, don't be a purist. Go out, have fun. You think, does that look like a nice picture? Then do it. Have fun with it. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, look at all the roots there. I wonder if that'll take... Oh, it does. It looks okay. Right. I'm getting more pictures than I thought, actually. And that's another thing that I like about this time of year. Grey skies. If you look, there's clouds, it's grey, it's very chromium, you've got all these textures in the sky. In summer, a blue sky, nothing more boring. But again, that's the challenge. Can you get something out of a blue sky? Of course you can, there's always something to do. That's what makes it fun though. I like the challenge of something just genuinely not working, and then you've got to sort of work at it to make something that's more pleasing to look at. Now, I've been thinking, I actually have a laser cutter and etcher, and I might take these and etch them into metal or figure out something to do a fake tintype. I don't know if it's even possible, But I think I'll make that a little project for myself, and if it works out, then I'll do a video on it, showing you how it could be done. But having a laser etcher and cutter is not a cheap way to do anything. That's for my work, but I thought I could employ it in doing something interesting and have a more physical version of these pictures. I've got an idea how it could be done and how I could make it look a bit genuine. I mean, essentially etching out on glasses, sorry, on a metal plate is the way a tintype is done. So I think I might be able to do something. I'm thinking about layers of enamel or so. I don't know. I'm going to figure something out. And it'll probably all go wrong. But there is no harm in trying. Oh, just lovely trees. There's nothing nicer than an old felled tree. It just looks great. I think I'll get a picture up the length of this. And if you have an iPad, or sorry, if you don't have an iPad, I think there's Android versions of this in some way. You can get different versions of things. There's always something to mess about with. And if you have an old iPad or a new one, doesn't matter. It's all there available for you, very cheap. Like that, this is 99 cents, which I don't even know that works out about 85 pence or something. I think that's fair enough. Although it works out at the same price anyway, because you are charged, because it's a foreign payment or something, you are charged usually a little extra few pence, which I didn't know until recently, but there you go. But the place I want to shoot is this field over here. We've got to walk up not too far, and you can look just at the fence out to it, and at different times of year it could look so good, whether it's the field's planted or not. It's always very interesting. Oh, there's a buzzard. Whoa, he's big. They are big birds. This wall here, I think, might be interesting. There's two parts of it. There's a bit that's always covered in moss, which will take a few shots. Now, my walks are usually relatively short as I have an injury, and I can't, oh God, I almost fell. I can't walk very far, which is annoying, but I'm afraid that's a part of my life now, where I'm limited in what I can do. So when I'm doing these little out and abouts for you, it actually gets me a bit of fresh air. But it can be a bit irritating that I struggle a bit on my feet. But that's okay. It's a part of getting older. Well, not really. I've got something bonus to go along with it. Right, this is the bit here. I can go through here without tripping up and knocking the camera off. And it looks a bit dull, but I just always find this a fascinating view. So let's see if I can get something on it. Oh, it looks great. It does look great. I'm just, I don't really like when people say, oh, rule of thirds and all this thing. That, it has its place, but certainly not the way I shoot. I'll split the shot completely in half, and I enjoy doing that. make it very symmetrical, but in a not a jarring way certainly, but in a way that can be a bit different. So I'm going to just take a couple of more shots. I'm going to take a few shots with the sky. Another one here. And one more. And I think that's us done. Because I'm limping. I need to go back to the car. Excellent. So as I say, get yourself out with an old iPad or an iPhone or whatever you've got and enjoy taking pictures, because I find this, am I putting that over the camera? I probably am, because I enjoy just taking pictures and having fun. So, one last look. Isn't that look? It is so quiet. The noisiest thing out here is me blethering to myself. And someone just went past with the dog looking at me like I was a weirdo, or weirder than I already am. Ah well, until next time.